Hi and hello friends. It's been some time that I have come and spoken to you. As you know, this past week had been a very terrible week for the states of West Bengal and Assam and Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram, and maybe some parts of Arunachal. It had caused a lot of damage. The weather, the condition was not suitable for me to make any videos because there was power breakdown, the winds were howling, and everything was in a chaotic manner out here in Assam also, because the rains had been literally pouring for the last 7 days, and there was no power supply. There was a lot of blackouts all over the state, and I came to know that some of the power lines had fallen down on the river Becky, somewhere close to where we stay. Beside the river, these power lines had fallen. Then even the high tension wires, which were maybe 32,000 kilohertz of wires, which transport this electricity from Bhutan down to Salakati in Bongaigaon, those power lines also had snapped. So you can see it was a massive damage, and this damage was caused by the Cyclone Amphan. Cyclone Amphan. It was just 1 week back that it had hit West Bengal. It had come all the way from the Bay of Bengal and traveled in a severe cyclonic storm, and it started to move along the Orissa border, and from Orissa border it hit into Bay of Bengal near Sundarban and Hatia, and then it went on to hit Bangladesh also. So all these coastal areas, they were really had a great problem. Even till now, after 1 week back ahead also, many of these areas are underwater, no power supply, no telephone communication. Forget about road and transport, because thousands and thousands of trees have fallen on the roads, and the thing is, like, everything is in a standstill manner. The country was just experiencing this lockdown due to the coronavirus, and now again I can really feel how those people feel in those areas, because now this Amphan had Amphan had really doubled their hardship and problems. It had really created a lot of problems for them. There is hardly any place where they can look up and say there's roof. Imagine the airport also was flooded. It looked like a big lake, and some of you might have seen the visuals from the news which was printed out, and so many things coming out of there. If you are following what aftermath the cyclone left, you can just imagine how much damage it has caused for many people. I don't know, around 60-70 odd people lost their lives in India, and how many people lost their life in Bangladesh we do not really know. But really, it really created havoc, and now the scientists or the meteorologists who are studying the impact of these cyclones and why it is always the Bay of Bengal is considered the hotbed of tropical cyclones. Hotbed means it is every year this area, the Bay of Bengal, creates certain kind of a environment for these tropical cyclones to develop. In the 2 years back we had Fani, or then this year we have this Amphan, and this was of greater intensity because it developed into a very rapidly developed into a very strong cyclonic wind which was blowing. In some of the areas they experienced almost around 195 kilometers per hour. So strong the winds were. And I was just listening to some of the reports which are coming in, and they were talking about people who live on the 41st floor. Imagine so tall buildings. Even those buildings, many of the windows broke, doors broke, glasses scattered, and the building itself was swinging from slightly just like an earthquake. And the people who were living on those areas, they were really scared. I can tell you, I cannot imagine how they must be feeling about it. And during that period of time, and it was just in the afternoon when it started, around 4:30, 5 o'clock, when it started to blow across Kolkata. And you can imagine the panic there must have been during that period of time. Millions of people were evacuated to safer places, and they were locked into some safer buildings or structure which could withstand the Amphan. But I tell you, the damage that it left in the physical structure of Calcutta, into the mental scar that it left behind for the people who live in those areas, it has been tremendous. Very difficult to imagine how they must have been experiencing going through this. We have just visuals. We cannot understand how they felt. We will never really experience it because we are living further up into the northern side and very close to Bhutan. So we got the after effect. The after effect was maybe the wind speed. I checked, it was around 18 to 17 kilometers per hour, only it blew. But the rains were quite heavy. The rains were very heavy, and in many of the areas that we live in, very close to where we live, like we have the Sunday market and some areas around where we live in, there was water collection, and a lot of water got collected, and it was quite heavy. But there are certain parts in Assam which was literally flooded. The rivers were overflowing, and it was causing great difficulty. I do not know, around 3 lakhs people or less than that were affected by the flooding in their area in Assam also. There were also reports of landslides in Meghalaya, somewhere near Jowai. You can see practically the whole road. The road itself is being taken off because so much of rain fell in those areas also. You can also find other visuals of how it created so much of damage in the after effects, that is only the rains. Luckily we did not get the strong winds which were falling through those West Bengal, but we got only the rains which fell in our part. And I can tell you, it was really very difficult to stay inside the house for these rains, because it really poured. It really poured means as it is we are facing lockdown, this was another extra burden to stay really inside the home, because in the area that we live in, we find that we come out of the house, we go around, play, do something or go around, but when this rain fell, it was terrible that we also had to stay inside the homes. And I believe that most of us who are living in Northeast, we are very fortunate, we can say, because only the rain had fallen. heavily, but then it was not the cyclonic one where our houses blew off, or the tins blew off, or the trees fell, or it caused a lot of damage to telecommunication and other things. But naturally we had some problems with the electricity, but considering others, I think they suffered greatly from the Cyclone Amphan. And I think this was the most strongest and most deadliest cyclone that had fallen into India after Fani and maybe some other names which were given. Now, there are two eminent meteorologists who have mentioned and they have studied, and now they have a text which one of the scientists, his name is meteorologist, his name is Ben Hansen. He says the Bay of Bengal is a textbook example of this type of geography where tropical cyclones develop. There are few areas in the world. One is in the Gulf of Louisiana, that is in America, where they also have this annually cyclones falling on to their mainland, like how we experience in West Bengal. So there is only very few areas where this kind of tropical cyclone always takes place. Now the intensity might have increased, we cannot say, because of the global warming and other aspects, but this too, one is our Indian meteorologist, head of the department in meteorology, his name is M. Mohapatra. He says that since the Bay of Bengal, the water is just like in a concave shape. The collection of the Bay of Bengal is in a concave shape. So what happens that it becomes like a funnel, and the water itself is warmer than most of the seas and oceans. So this bay becomes a concave, and when the strong winds start to develop into this Bay of Bengal, it churns up and becomes like a funnel, and it starts to blow northwards, and northwards it starts blowing, and then we can find the effect of this tropical cyclone in different forms annually. This might not be the last one, it might be the prelude to the next bigger one. We can't say that, but it really is being studied as an example of how tropical cyclones develop in the Bay of Bengal, and it's a very good study because meteorologists need to understand the reasons and why it happens and how it can be prevented. Imagine the evacuation of people around the coastal areas of Orissa and West Bengal. They were given more time, just more time than the lockdown announced by our leaders of our country. Our leaders had given us around 4 hours to get ready for the lockdown, but the scientists and the meteorologists, they had mentioned this earlier, so the many people did not lose their life. Many people did not lose their life. If it was not informed to them earlier, I think lakhs of people would have lost their lives due to this cyclone which happened. So we need to be thankful that we live in a very safe place, a nice place, and we have all the beauties of everything, and we are content. So this is a opportunity to thank our God for giving us such a place that we live in, that we are like protected. We experience everything, but then it doesn't cause great harm to our environment and to ourselves and to everything that we live around with. So it doesn't affect much, but that is our side of our story. But there are others who might say that no, we don't have such things and those things. But yes, to live safely in your home at this present hour is the message that we should all get, that be safe, be at home, and keep yourself safe from the virus which is coming into our state and into our areas very rapidly, and a lot of increase in the positive side you can see and hear, so that we need to protect ourselves. If we protect ourselves from this virus, I think we save others also. So let's be a responsible citizens to protect ourselves first, so that we will protect others. Thank you very much, and have a pleasant time with your family and friends. And please do think about the cyclone which fell in West Bengal and the lives which were lost and the damage it done to those states. And let's thank our Lord that we are sound and healthy. Until then, I wish you all the best. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and be happy. Thank you.